Shalom, shalom. First off, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kadesh. And shalom to my elders of GMS who told me this truth. And shalom to you brothers that scat out throughout the four corners of the earth, preaching his gospel, preaching his word, risking your lives to do so. Shalom to you brothers. All right. Just wanted to get into this video about this whole Saudi Arabia joins U.S. fight against Iran-linked fighters. It says the strikes confirmed by the kingdom's defense ministry mark Saudi Arabia's first announced foray into the war. They promise it will not mark an escalation in the fighting. Right? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia joined the United States attacking fighters aligned with Iran, the Persian Gulf State Ministry of Defense announced. Saudi Arabia struck Iran-linked militias based in Iraq. The kingdom said Wednesday, July 29th, the strikes come in response to attacks from the militants on the oil and gas facilities in the kingdom. Defense Ministry officials said that the strikes were carried out in coordination with the U.S. Central Command, the military arm overseeing operations in the Middle East. Right? So this shit is escalating. You know what I mean? They told us it's not going to escalate, but it's going to escalate because that's prophecy. You know what I mean? The least of the flock shall draw them out. And he's, Amalek drew everybody into this damn war. America, got involved. They shot missiles and everything at Iran first, and they escalated this shit. They killed the Ayatollah, and now it's just escalating now. They're hitting oil refineries, and Iran's retaliating and shooting missiles at naval bases, killing U.S. soldiers. And they think they're playing with the numbers. Saying only 5 or 6 military people were killed, but it turns out to be hundreds, if not thousands. You know what I mean? So the media is, playing with the numbers, being manipulative and just lying like they always do, just fucking lying and controlling the narrative, and so everybody is not panicked right now. Everybody's still in this comfortable state of mind, especially here in Babylon, So let me read a little bit more. It says the strikes confirmed by Saudi officials mark the country's first announced foray into the war. President Donald Trump and ally Israel launched on the Islamic Republic of Iran on February 28th. This reaffirms the kingdom's legitimate right to defend itself and its capabilities, while reserving the right to respond at the appropriate time and place in line with the Almighty's words, Defense Ministry officials said in a statement on their official X account. Okay, so, and then now you have, I was just watching a brother video, and I believe China just armed Iran with some missiles, and let me see if I can show that, because I didn't. I just looked at it. He had put on this title of his video. Right, the brother Ali Ashai from the Men of Valor camp. His channel was almost home, and it says China right, sending Iran 400 missiles. And we at the brink of this thing. And it's just getting worse. It's just going to get worse because China's going to get involved. Russia's eventually going to get involved because they're going to, Gog and Magog shall be a defense unto Persia. Russia's going to get involved. And it's just shit's just gonna keep escalating, you know what I mean? But like we always say, the MOTB has to be established first before anything else can happen as far as the other prophecies go. The MOTB has to be mandated, and made mandatory, so that has to happen first. Everything has to be in order. How the Lord set it up, and then that's when this world war going to start, and it's going to be all hell, just all destruction and deletion from there, and shit's just getting worse. It's just getting worse, while America, Babylon is still in this fucking this this sleep that they're in. You know what I mean? This coma. You know what I mean? Sleep that they're in, and just people just careless and just whatever. Like I mean, they can still work these little bullshit ass jobs and still go to work and still go to the grocery store to get food and still do their daily errands. But once that all gets taken away, you know what I mean? These people, they just going to be in disarray. They're going to be in total fear. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to have any answers. They're going to try to look for us, but we ain't going to be around. Especially the people that walk. When we were out there teaching, the people that walk by us, scoff, talk shit. You know what I mean? Had something negative to say, or they had something, or they probably thought of some negative shit. As they walked by, just thinking some negative shit about us. When we just out there trying to warn our people, trying to feed the sheep, and they don't want to hear it. That's why scriptures talk about speak unto us smooth things. If we were all dressed up fly as shit, hair cut all lined up, whatever, and everything like that, whatever they, you know what I mean, with chains and nice suits and shit, they'll have, they'll listen to us then, when we out there in our garments, whatever, and just, you know what I mean, in our ancient garments, and we out there teaching and trying to edify the people and everything. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear, us breaking down the scriptures and the right way and giving them to giving them to them raw, basically. We giving it to you raw, unfiltered, uncensored, They don't want to hear that. So things are escalating, and this, this whole shit with this war thing it's just gonna get worse, It's just gonna get worse. Let me get the scripture. Okay, hold on. Let me get the scriptures. Okay, all right. Isaiah 47:1. All right, Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt not no more be called tender and delicate. That's right. They're going to be brought to a low state when it says, come down and sit in the dust. And the virgin of Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, that's talking about America. That's right now. And the reason why it's being called the virgin, because it's never been touched. It has never faced any sort of difficulties or any type of war or any kind of destruction here. You know what I mean? Any kind of judgment, no real judgment, and unless the government has something to do with it, and they when there was an inside job, you know what I mean. But other than that, Babylon has never went through anything, has never been through any catastrophic events, unless it was orchestrated by the elites, And and it says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans, these magic, these witchcraft wizards, and these on the left hand side, these they would be the Illuminati, these higher luminaries. You know what I mean? That's what that's talking about. And this place is going to be brought down to destruction, to nothing, to a wasteland. Especially when these thermonuclear missiles hit Babylon, it's going to just utterly waste. Just going to turn it to dust. It's going to turn it to a desert, desert creatures and shit, It's not going to be no grass or nothing. All that shit's going to be destroyed. The nature, the you know, the greenery, that's all going to be fucking destroyed. You know. You know. Let me see, I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says, verse 2: Take the milestones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Right? It's gonna be get exposed. It's gonna be, you know, it's gonna show, you know, it's gonna get into it. It's gonna, you know, expose the nakedness. Verse 3: Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. That's Yahweh Shah when he comes back. He's going to come back as an angelic force. You know what I mean? He's going to be in his spiritually royal power. You know what I mean? That's what he's coming back as. You know? And he shall not bring peace but a sword. You know? It's not Yahweh Shah is not coming back to bring no peace upon the earth. He's coming back with a sword. And then he's going to get the ones that pierced him, you know, that put him on that cross, you know. Yahweh Shah is going to take vengeance on these motherfuckers that did him wrong 2,000, almost, you know, 3,000 years ago, you know. So this is where we at, you know, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So that's it on that. You know, Lord willing, I hope this was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.